Hello and very warm welcome everyone. It's Marta here. Welcome back. Today I have fabulous card for you, my friends. This is the part of my design team inspiration, and this idea is actually something I found on my friend channel Louise from Iced Image, so I will link her down below. I will tell you a little bit more about this card in a second, but because I went straight to cutting the panels, I just want to give you the measurements. So you're needing two panels, 4 by 6 inches or 10 by 15 centimeters, and then two long strips, which will be 5 by 30 centimeters or 2 by 12 inches. If you're operating on an inch scale, you take the long strip, first one, and you score it at 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 every 2 inches. If you operate on centimeter scale, you score that 30 centimeter long strip every 5 centimeters. So that will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and the last 30. So you end up with 6 equal squares regardless of the measurements. Now for the second strip, if you work on the inches, you will score then at 2, 3.5, 6, 8.5, and 10. And if you work on the centimeters, you'll be scoring at 5, 9, 15, 21, and 25. And I will write it down everything in the description area because I know it's a little bit to take in, but I want to give you both measurements because some of you, my friends, are operating in inches, some of you are operating in centimeters. Now we're going to need additional strip, which will be like 2 by 1 inches, so 5 by 2.5 centimeter, and then this is something you score in half just to have a little flap to join the longer strip together. And now going back to the card, you're having two different pieces, one which is going onto equal squares, the other one will be slightly different, and the one which has 6 identical sides, this is the one you need a little flap to join. The other one will be kind of the insert to your mechanism because we're gonna be making hexagonal pop-up box, and I absolutely love it. The second I seen Louise making the card, I was just like, oh wow, I absolutely love it and I need to use it. Here you can see you've got this letter E shape once you put all the pieces together, and the one in the center is the longest one, and you actually glue those two sides together. So you'll see I'm adding the glue right in the center, and those both middle section, which are the largest one, I am joining them together as one. So that will create this kind of like a letter E or W, depending how you hold it to the side or upright. That'll be just our mechanism. And this card, one more thing I wish to say, it's absolutely fabulous idea for any beginner, for everyone. You don't really need any specialty die. You don't need to own die cutting machine because whatever you're gonna decide to dress up the card panel, you don't really need dies for it. Now, another thing which I absolutely love in this creation is that you can use up your scraps because we have those panels which are 2 by 2 inches or 5 by 5 centimeters square. I'm going to be dressing them up with little squares. So here I'm not even starting a new page of the paper. I just rumble through my scraps and I'm using up the pink color paper. It's actually my scraps, so I'm just chopping it into the squares which are slightly smaller than 2 by 2 inches or 5 by 5 centimeters, and that's all you need. Here I just use the design paper because, as I've mentioned at the beginning, this is the part of my design team inspiration, so I'm playing with the paper, but this card will be working fabulously if you would use up your scraps, and they not necessarily need to be the same color. You could put like a different color papers as well, and that'll be, you know, different mixture, like a ombre effect, or like, you know, put the central one different color than the sides, dependingly what's your need. You can dress up this card for so many occasions, and I absolutely love it. And I love the fact that this is folding flat and it will suit the 6 by 6 inch envelope or 15 by 15 centimeter square envelope. So here you can see I've got the this little squares, and I'm trying to kind of put them so I have this continuation of the design. This is something which I really like to do, and I think it's adding this additional elegance. If you've got the continuous of the pattern on all those 3 panels, because you can only see 3 at once, that will be just looking great. So here I am just adding the squares one by one, and I did mat and layers to my card. However, if you don't want to chop as many pieces of the paper, you can just go with 1 layer. And if you would like to have additional frame around, you can use the ink and just ink over the edges, and that way you will have kind of a fake mat and layering. And this is also a great tip if you're looking for something which will be cheaper to postage, rather than adding bulkiness and weight in the form of additional paper. You can just ink up the edges, and that way it will be quicker and the card will be a little bit more lightweight. Here I have this little flap which I've joined those pieces together. It doesn't matter how wide it is, it's just as long as it's the same length as your squares, 2 inches or 5 centimeters, and you can join the pieces together, so you could end up having that perfect hexagonal shape you can see here. And what I would recommend you to do is just to fold it flat and then just go over each scoring line, so you will work it out the fabric, like the paper, and that way it will fold nicer. Now, 2 panels, they are 4 by 6 inches or 10 by 15 centimeters, and this is something you can dress up to any occasion. One of them will be the front panel, the other one will be probably the side you would like to print the wishes or leave the message to write. Now, the only one tip I can tell you, if you are planning to leave the space for the wishes to be handwritten, make sure that you don't add any bulky pieces to the front, so that way once the card is fold flat, the person who will be writing the wishes, they don't have any, like, you know, half back pearls or something on the front side, so it will be easier to write down the wishes. But if I'll make the elegant card, my tip is always to print the wishes. It's always looks nicer, it looks more professional, and there's less chances for making any mistake or, you know, just make a smudges with the pen. There's nothing worse, and I did it a couple of times. I thought like, oh, I'm just gonna add the personal accent and I will just write the wishes, and then I either made the mistake or I write the wishes and then I smudge my pen with my hand, and that's something like, oh, I don't want to do it. So if I can, I always try to print the wishes. Let me know what's your take, what's your thought on this matter. Are you printing wishes or you write them down? You know, I'm always trying to make sure that if the card is really nice and I spend some time, I rather go with the printed wishes. Now here I am just adding the glue to my matten layers, and then I will adhere them to those white panels, and the white panels then we're gonna join together. But before we're gonna do so, we are going to be gluing this little mechanism part in between them. So that's why I am working on 2 separate panels. And here you can see this mechanism, and we have this little part which we join in the center. So the panel is like 4-inch wide, and this little piece is 2 inches. So that means I'll have to leave 1 inch on both ends, or like that will be 10 centimeters, and then the 5 centimeters, this little piece, so 2.5 centimeters on both ends. So here you can see I've kind of you know, make myself a little trace with the pencil, but then it wasn't even equal, so I just had to glue it to the side. But make sure you use a ruler, just so you'll be in the center. Your card will be looking nicer if you have the equal distance from both sides. And once I glue one part, then I will adhere the panel to the other side. So this little central part of the mechanism, that will be covered and no one will see it. The card is really simple. It's look complex once you take it out from the envelope and you put that pop-up mechanism. It gives you this little like a wow effect, like whoever you will give the card, the definitely recipient will be like, oh wow, how is it made? But it's very, very simple and it's very quick to do as well. It's just needing a little bit of the scoring and cutting. And as I've mentioned at the beginning, this is beginner friendly card because it doesn't require any dice. I'm gonna be using some dice and doilies to dress it up, but it's not necessary. This is something additional. So here you can see, once you stack this hexagonal over this little mechanism and we're gonna be joining those two sides together, it will just stand upright. So the main important thing is just to add the glue and glue this little side of the mechanism piece right into the center. So just make sure you have it the right way. You want to have your hexagonal pop-out box you know, glue, and then just glue it to one side. And then what I like to do, I'm just adding the glue to the other side and then just glue it separately. Like I prefer to do it one side at a time, just to make sure I have it nice and even. And just to make sure, do not put too much glue, because you don't want the glue to ooze out and then just stuck into your panel. And then once you have it all done, just make sure you just use your bone folder just to, you know, press it firmly, make sure the glue will catch. And here you can see we've got this beautiful like a basket effect, which is holding our panel, and they are you know, standing upright. And all you really have to do is to dress up the card. I'm gonna be making a card for little girl, even though she's in a blue onesie, but because I'm having lots of the pinkish color accent, I have those pinkish panel, I do think the card will be just designed for a girl, but that could be easily dress up for any occasion. I would love to create the card for like anniversary. I can see adding the number like 20 or 30 for the anniversary right up upon this hexagonal square, one of those ones, so that will be looking nice as well. Now another thing to remember if you're gonna be making this type of the card is that your composition has to be on the 2/3 of the top part, because once you put your card together like in standing up, you're not gonna see the lower 2 inches of the panel. So if you're planning to add any photo or any sentiment or something, make sure you actually dress up the top part, like more than a half, 2/3 of the card on this panel, and then the bottom part, the 1/3 on the bottom, that will be covered up. So there's no point for sticking any sentiments there because they're not gonna be visible. Just to give you that heads up. Here a little doily, this is the die I have from the Kokorosa. I also add additional like a little scalloped one, white one, and then the blue frame on top of it, and then I have the image. I had a couple of those banners, but then I've decided that I'm actually just gonna use the butterfly. I want my composition to be clean and simple, very delicate for the occasion. It's gonna be a first birthday card, and later on I'm planning to add number 1 as well, but I just want to print the name for the little girl as well. Here I'm just chopping a couple of the paper flowers. I do believe that for the card which will go to the envelope, it is better to add flat composition rather than bulky flowers, especially that this hexagonal pop-up box, it will go on top of it. So once you put it up to put it in the envelope, it will cover up this composition, so you just want to keep it fairly clean and simple. My card is almost ready. I'm just gonna use my hot glue to adhere a couple of those elements, and that's it. You can see here how beautifully it's just coming off and up. You can put it up to set it up straight up, and then once you're gonna be done and you want to pack it in the envelope, you just fold it up, so that way this mechanism is kind of, you go towards the center and it will all nice fit the 6x6 envelope. Here, couple of the close-up look of this beautiful card. Let me know if you like it, and of course thank you so very much everyone who are clicking the like button and share my videos with others. This is a huge support. I'll be coming back with another video shortly, and I'll see you then. Have a beautiful day, my friends, and bye bye.